Hello, okay, boys and girls. Today we're going to practice some of our place value problems that we have been having in class recently. But before we get to go over that, we want to go over our vocabulary for place value. Okay, so I will read you the definition and the word, and then I want you to read it with me. Okay, ready? What does this say? Place value. Place value is a value of a digit depending on its place in a number. Okay, read it with me. Place value, a value of a digit depending on its place in a number. Okay, good. Who can point to the picture that represents place value? Pretend they pointed. Good job. This is place value. And who can tell me what each slot represents? What's right here? What are the orange cubes represent? The ones column. Good. What about these long green rods? What do they represent? The tens. Good job. And what about this big blue square right here? What should that represent that we didn't get to talk about yet? Let's see if you know it. Hundreds. Okay, hundreds. Good job. All right, what is our next word? Our next word is tens. Tens is 10 objects in a group make up a 10. Read it with me now. Ready? Tens. 10 objects in a group make up a 10. Point to the picture that represents a 10. Good job, a 10. What does this look like, boys and girls? What have we been practicing with? That's right, it looks like our blue 10 longs right here. Good job, boys and girls. Okay, next word. What do we have? What is this? Ones. Ones, a single object represents one. Read it with me. Ready? Ones, a single object represents one. Point to the picture that represents one. Good. What does this look like, boys and girls? That's right. It looks like our ones that we have been working with. Good job. All right, last word, boys and girls. Are we ready? What does this say? Addition. To bring two or more numbers together to make a new total. Read it with me. Read it slow. Addition. To bring two or more numbers together to make a new total. What could be a picture that represents addition in front of me? That's right. Look what we have here. We have one bird plus two birds equals a new total of 3 birds. Good job, boys and girls. Okay. All right, boys and girls. I'm going to hand you your new base 10 block mat, and you can notice here, look what we have in the ones column. How many slots do we have? Count them with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 slots that you can put your, what goes in here? Is it a long? No. What goes in here? A 1 cube goes in here, right? And remember, 10 cubes makes up a 10 right here, makes up a long, right? So when we are practicing with these, I want you to make sure that you are only putting 1 cube into one of these slots here, okay? It'll help you to keep them in order so you don't get yourselves confused, okay? All right, so grab yourself one of these, and I will hand you out some longs and some cubes, okay, boys and girls? All right. So now we're going to go over some example problems. Now, if I was in a classroom, I would use a Promethean board, and I would also have the Elmo projector, where I would keep one of these for myself, and I would also keep a set of manipulatives with me up at the Elmo projector so that my students see me manipulating and utilizing my base 10 blocks, and so that they could mimic that and represent it with their own blocks. But, okay. All right, boys and girls, let's go over a little example problem. What happens if we have 12 plus 35? This is where I write 12 plus 35 on the Promethean board. or even on a whiteboard, whatever I have accessible to me. Okay, boys and girls, let's take our base 10 work mat. How many ones are in the number 12? Look at our place value. Point to the ones place for me in number 12. Good, you should be pointing at the 2. Good job. So does that mean I should have 2 longs or 2 cubes? Right, we need 2 cubes because in that place value, that's the 1, so we need 2 ones in there. Remember, put them in your slots. Good. All right, now let's look at our tens place. Point to your tens place in for number 12. Right there, how many tens do we have? 1 10. Good. Take one of your longs, make sure it's a long. Put it in your tens column. Good job. All right, now we have the number 35. Point to the ones column in 35. What number is that? You're right, that's number 5. So that means I should have 5 of what? 5 ones. Good job. So pick up 5 more ones. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Put them in their own slots, boys and girls. Okay, good job, boys and girls. Now look in my tens place. Point to the tens place. What number is in my tens place for 35? 3. Good job. So how many longs should I grab? 3 longs. Good job. Put them right there. Do we all have them in the right spot? Good job. Okay, who can add up their base 10 blocks on their mat for me? Go ahead. How many 10s do I have? You see them? Good. Are they all in the right spot? Good. How many 1s do I have? Let's start with that. 1s. Take your finger, count the 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. Write down 7 in your 1s place for your new total. 7. Good job. Now let's look at our 10s. Point to your 10s. How many do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4 for your 10s. Good job. All right, so where should I write that number now if it's in my 10s place and it's a part of my new total? Good, I should write it right in my 10s place for my new total right there, right next to the 7. Good job. Okay, boys and girls, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to complete this worksheet independently. I will be walking around and helping you if you need me, okay? Just raise your hand or come see me, all right? Okay, so I did have to kind of work with what I had here, being that it's summer and I don't have a classroom right now. But I wanted to just share why I picked the papers I did and why I picked the activity that I did. I chose to do an activity that I saw my own students back in my previous placement at McNichols Plaza, and I had an abundance of ESL students in my classroom alone. And one particular thing that I saw a few of my students struggling with was place value when they were adding. Now, they didn't really get into too much of it, but when they were doing their activities in their math centers, when it did involve doing double-digit addition, they kind of were struggling and they had to either work together with each other to figure out a new sum or a new total, but still I could see them that both of them were struggling when they were trying to figure it out. But I thought maybe utilizing the base 10 blocks and being hands-on and doing the one-to-one correspondence and everything with this lesson will be a good strategy and a good way to help them kind of practice and get used to the whole idea of double-digit addition. Now, what I really liked about this lesson and what I found to be useful, that I know should be useful in a classroom, is a base 10 block work mat, but specifically for the ones column that I have here. Now, I did mention in my video just previously that I wanted my students to make sure they only had 1 cube in each slot for the base 10 block work mat, because this way it helps them keep everything organized, and then they shouldn't have, like, let's say 12 cubes here, or at least more than 10 they should not have there. That way you can keep them organized and it'll be easier to see that, oh, I have 10 ones. I could substitute that later when they get into regrouping. I could substitute that for a 10 or a long. And now I know many other placements have different wordings for tens, ones, longs, cubes, rods, singles. I've heard multiple things, but what I would want to do was see what the other teachers in my school are using when they're talking about their math manipulatives, what even my math curriculum book is labeling them as, and even, like, for instance, my vocab. My vocab words, I worked with what I had, but if I was in a classroom, I would hopefully want to at least have my curriculum, like, hopefully it comes with maybe vocab and maybe it comes with some pictures, or even if I were to have, let's say, my own manipulatives in my own classroom, that I know my students will be working with those manipulatives every single day, I would take a picture of those ones that I have so that they could see, like, oh, if I'm talking about a 10, they see the picture of the 10 that they use when they're talking about their place value and represent it with the vocab card. And even one other thing I have in my lesson plan is the picture that I have of the base 10 blocks. I found that picture and I found that to be a very helpful tool, that the ones were a different color, the 10s were a different color, and even the hundreds were a different color. That way, because you see the ones that I have here, the 10s are a light blue and the ones are a light blue. So yes, they get to see the different shapes and the different sizes and how this one's longer and this one's only one, but I feel like that could be still confusing for some other students, because they'll probably just think, oh, the blue one. Well, they're all blue, so they're going to get all confused. So this way, if I had different colors for the different place value representatives, then it would be easier for them to utilize. And one last thing that I found that could be a really good accommodation too for ESL students, and even just students struggling with this subject in general, is at the top of the worksheet that I found and provided for the lesson was a number line. Now, in my placement previously, the teacher did keep up an enlarged version of a number line, and it was always on their morning message board because they always had to do the number of the day. Sorry. Sorry, that was the people service all along. But I found that the number line up at the top of the worksheet was a great way for them to, maybe my ESL student has a vision problem, they can't see the number line far away and they're too nervous to go up and get up, but they'll be able to just utilize this number line and understand that when they're in the ones column, they could go from right here, like my first example, you have 12 and 35. They could go to the ones column and see, I could hop up from my largest number, 5, up 2. So they could find 5 and go hop 1 to 6, hop 2 to 7. Okay? Which again, I think that's a great tool, because even sometimes when I was sitting in the classroom and I was trying to show them the number line, I have bad vision. So I would have to squint and kind of go up and see it myself. And I would then encourage them to, it's okay if you have to get up and go look at the number line. It's okay if you have to go up and touch the number and move your finger as it's hopping across the number line. Whatever helps you get the correct answer is fine with whatever educator you should come and cross paths with. But again, if I had my own classroom, if I had my own Promethean board, my own Elmo projector, this would be a more ideal setup, but we're working with what we have. But again, if you have any other questions, feel free to email me, call me, anything. But thank you so much, and hopefully this is okay.